3 guesses.
Mr. Carter, and I'm ready for him.
Good evening, Tom.
Good evening, Margot.
This is Mr. Carter.
Evening, Mr. Good.
Good evening, Mr. Carter. Right, that's got the Ponzi formalities over. I'll busy man, if you'll just make your threats, I'll ignore them and you can clear off.
No threats. I just want to have a chat.
That's what Hitler said at Munich.
May I come in as well?
Unless you want to listen through the keyhole. Mr. Carter, Barbara, my wife.
How do you do?
Hello. Won't you sit down?
Right, now. Oh. Excuse me. Right, now.
Am I to be offered a seat in this house?
No.
Then I shall stand.
Oh, sit down, Margot. No, Jerry?
He has another engagement.
I know, he's too embarrassed to come. At least he has the decency not to want to get mixed up in this sort of petty interference.
Mr. Carter?
Well,
No. I'm having my 4 pennyworth first. Now, look here, Carter. You may be chairman of the Residents' Association, but my wife and I are not normal residents.
quite.
We're trying a new way of life here and working very hard at it. We worked out what we put into it and what we're going to get out of it, hopefully. We don't belong to anybody. We don't want any interference from anybody.
Mr. Carter?
Oh, be quiet. Go on, Tom.
I don't expect you to understand 9 till 5, a company car, all nice and cozy inside the system. What could you possibly know about trying to make it on your own, eh? Eh?
Quite a lot. I did.
Exactly. What?
I did. I left the system as well, 8 years ago. I hardly sold a thing for 6 years, but now I'm making a living at it.
But what?
Writing, freelance. Call me Hitler by all means, but don't tell me I know nothing about chancing my arm.
Oh.
Bravo, Mr. Carter.
Nonsense, rubbish. That makes it worse. If you know about going it alone, all the more reason why you shouldn't be round here trying to interfere with our personal liberty.
Quite right.
I'm not.
Well, what are you doing?
Mr. Carter is here in his official capacity as chairman of the Residents' Association to tell you, on my behalf, that you may not keep pigs.
I'm not. I am just here as an unbiased referee to help sort out a little problem between neighbours.
A little problem?
Now look, Mrs. Ledbetter, let's get down to cases. Why precisely do you object to Mr. and Mrs. Good keeping pigs?
Because they are pigs.
Yes?
Well, that's it. Isn't it enough?
No.
Well, that wraps that up. Anybody fancy a game of crib?
I'm afraid that doesn't quite wrap it up, Mr. Good. We should establish whether or not Mrs. Ledbetter does have legitimate grounds for complaint.
At last, Mr. Carter. Tell him what they are.
Well, don't you know?
Oh, all right. Look, Mr. Good. Do they constitute any kind of health hazard?
Exactly.
No. I've had my land checked for parasites and all my animals vetted by a vet. According to him, they're healthier than I am.
Fair enough. Mind you, pigs do have a habit of creating piles of...
Exactly.
Piles of what?
Piles of...
Piles of what, Margot?
Piles of... I know you're trying to make me say the word.
All right, then I'll say it. Piles of dirties. Anyway, that's no problem. It's all going to go down to the cellar.
Oh, my God.
In containers, Margot, we intend to convert it into fuel.
Oh, methane.
Yes.
What a good idea.
Mr. Carter.
Well, I can't think of anything else.
Well, I can.
What?
They will ruin my garden.
We're not keeping them in your garden.
Well, say they jumped over the fence.
Oh, come on, I can't see piglets doing the Fosbury flop over a great high fence.
By the way,
They won't.
they will.
They won't.
They will.
They won't. They're pinned in.
They will. When it comes to destruction of property, Tom, then I have a perfect right to take legal action.
All right, tell you what. If they build a ladder and as much as set a trotter in your garden, I'll get rid of them. How's that?
Seems very fair to me.
Does not alter the fact that I can still see pigs from my patio. However, we will leave it at that. Barbara? Tom?
Margot? Margot?
Margot? Margot?
Good night, Mr. Carter. And I'm sorry to say this, but you are not the Mr. Carter I imagined you to be.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Because she's exactly the Mrs. Ledbetter I imagined her to be.